There's a version of you staying, and it looks loyal and responsible from the outside, but from the inside, you are slowly suffocating. And I know all about it because I spent too many years in a career and plenty of relationships long after I had outgrown them, just because walking away felt like I was throwing it all away. And we don't like to waste our time. And worse than that, we don't even realize exactly how much it's costing us until years have gone by. And then you are standing there wondering where all the time went and why you never made a move. Friend, listen, we will stay in situations knowing that it's really not the responsible thing that we really want to be doing, but sometimes responsible feels way more safer than just taking the leap of faith. And friend, there is such a huge difference between familiar and aligned. So, what is it actually costing you to stay? Let's get into it. Staying on autopilot, it has a hefty price tag. We just don't realize how much it's really going to cost. Listen, I spent 20 plus years in corporate leadership, and there was definitely a time earlier on in my career when I knew I didn't want to continue to climb the corporate ladder, but I stayed. And why did I stay, you ask? It's because I had invested so many years. And it felt like starting on another path was me throwing away all of those years and not getting reimbursed. And maybe you have felt like you were at that crossroads where you were in a place in your career and you've invested so much time that you just didn't want to throw away all of the time that you invested. Or even worse, when it's a relationship that for so long you absolutely loved. And then there was a huge change that shifted everything, and it's never quite felt the same. But walking away from it almost feels like you are erasing years from your life because who are you without this relationship? And suddenly building along that path seems way harder and complicated than just staying in this relationship, even when you know you've outgrown it years ago. And so many times we will choose to stay just because we have history somewhere. And not only does history repeat itself, but it often comes at a hefty price. When you decide to stay in something long after you've outgrown it, you are essentially giving up your presence because you're not fully present in this situation because a lot of times you've checked out. You are not happy or fulfilled, or you are just recognizing that this just doesn't feel good anymore. And what do we do when something doesn't feel good? We instantly start shifting our time over to things that do feel good. But that underlying feeling of that restlessness and just that knowing that you're not happy, it starts to speak way louder than the silence ever could. So you're just on autopilot. You are just going through the motions and your heart really isn't into it anymore. So you've given up your presence. Next thing you know, you start to pull back your energy, your effort. You're just doing the bare minimum to get by and check some boxes. You are no longer giving it your creative energy. You're no longer pouring your heart and your soul into it because, again, you checked out. And at this point, you feel like giving the bare minimum, honey. They should be glad that they even get that. But what we don't realize is that when you have mentally and emotionally checked out and you are no longer present, it starts to erode away at you because your body knows that you're not in alignment right now. You are not in integrity with who you are or who you're becoming. When you're going through the motions, it's like cutting off an air supply to the essence of who you are. Because when your heart isn't in it, friend, like you're just a shell walking around. It's kind of like that movie Click. Have you ever seen that movie with Adam Sandler where he had, okay, listen, if you've never seen the movie, spoiler alert, okay? You can pause it and like fast forward a little bit if you don't want me to spoil it for you if you've never seen it. But for those of us who have seen it, it is all about him having that remote control. And when he decides that he doesn't want to participate in some of life happenings, he will just go on autopilot. And we do the same thing in our lives. When we feel unappreciated, when we feel like we are not being acknowledged and recognized for our value and our worth, everything that we've done, everything that we've invested, but there were plenty of times in that movie where he would just literally check out. He just wanted to skip that part. And friend, we do the same thing in our lives, in our career, in our relationships. And it is really costing you something major because when you remove the essence of who you are from things in your life, you are literally cutting off the life support to it. So, friend, it really ends up costing you so much more in the long run because when you're not connected to the best of who you are, this is when you start wilding out. This is when you are clapping back at everybody. You are an argument waiting to happen. You're combative. Ask me how I know. Old me is like, we ready still. We in here, but we ready. Listen, I'm so glad that old me does not drive this car no more, okay? But it really is costing you so much when you decide to stay in situations that you've outgrown because you end up chipping away at your own self esteem, your own self trust. Because how can you trust yourself when you're not even honoring yourself? You know that you're not in alignment with the best of who you are. You know that you're not giving your best, and that's not even you because you always give your best. You strive for excellence in everything that you do. And your mind and body know when your heart is not in it, friend. You ain't fooling nobody. And it really just starts to erode away at way too many things that you really don't want to pay the price of your self esteem, the way that you see yourself, the way that you love yourself, you being honest with yourself, you respecting yourself because your body knows when you are allowing the disrespect or when you are just disrespecting yourself by not honoring your truth. And friend, that costs way much more than you deciding that it is time to leave this situation before you lose yourself. And you know what happens when you stay? You have to convince yourself. You have to say things like, this is the right thing to do. And I'm responsible. And I'm the noble one. I want to stay because it's the right thing to do. Or you say things like, I'm not a quitter. I would never quit. Not me. Mm-mm, not I. And loyalty, friend, we already know you are loyal to a fault. And while those things are really cute on paper, what's really happening is you know that leaving means uncertainty because you have no idea what is on the other side of this thing. And not only do you not know what's over there, but you don't even know if it's going to be worth it. You don't even know if it's going to be something that's good, that's going to work in your benefit. You have no guarantee of how it's going to work out. And all of that uncertainty is uncomfortable. And why leave what's cozy and familiar when you could just stay in your cozy little comfort zone, even though that has its own level of discomfort? But so many times we will make excuses to stay because it's easier. It's what's familiar. It's what's expected of us. And so you will just try to push down that feeling that's slowly suffocating you. You will try to push down the feeling that you've outgrown it and you know it's time to make a move, but you're scared to make a move because you don't even know how this thing is going to work without this present situation. And friend, that is what eats you from the inside out. Oh my goodness. The cost, friend, it's expensive. It is not easy to stay. There's work that has to be done there if you decide to stay. And to be honest with you, it's work if you stay and it's work if you go. But sometimes only one of those options comes with your peace. And only you can decide where that really lives. And friend, if any of this feels like it is hitting you below the belt, or if you are just feeling like this is explaining the exact crossroads you are at right now, then friend, go ahead and grab the main character energy journal prompts because they will help you get very clear on where you are and what your next move is because it helps you to get reconnected back to the best of yourself and it allows you to be honest with yourself, which is something that you might have been avoiding. But this helps you face it in a graceful way. No shame, no shade, and no judgment. So, friend, if you got some stuff that you need to work out, I'll leave the link for you down in the description. Okay. The journal prompts, they'll help you out. They'll help you get that clarity that you need so that you can actually start to take some steps forward and start to feel more like yourself again. So, because truth be told, friend, honest is not reckless. Sometimes you just need a little help to get you to a place where you feel safe enough to explore some other options for once. Now, this by no means that you are going to blow up your life tomorrow, okay? It does not mean that you are filing for divorce, quitting your job, and firing your kids. It's hard out here in these streets, okay? So if you are feeling inclined to do any of those things, it's really in your best interest to get these journal prompts, honey. Because it's time for you to get real honest with yourself. I know I'm joking, and sometimes, we just over dramatic for no apparent reason. We love to put 20 on a 10. But, friend, this is the time now more than ever to bridge the gap between you feeling like if you actually stand up for yourself in your own life, if you actually exercise your voice and start to make some shifts that make your life better for you and you not prioritizing everyone else's needs above your own, that's what honesty can help you do. And when you are able to be honest with yourself, not worried about how somebody else is going to feel or what this means for everyone else, because first, friend, I want you to not be last. I want you to not be the last one on your list that you consider because it is making all of these sacrifices to stay in a place that you know no longer serves you. And it is just eroding away at you little by little. But if you can get honest with yourself about what is true for you now, because when was the last time you even thought about what is true for you at this stage of your life, in this season? What do you want the next season of your life to look like? Maybe you've spent so much time catering to everyone else and you're so depleted that you're ready to go in a different direction. Or maybe you've spent so much time building up this career, and now that you feel like there's a pivot in your future, you are trying to reconcile if it means that you're walking away and losing out on something. And friend, that is just not even the truth. Everything that you've built from this point, you're taking all the good stuff with you. You might not be able to physically take every single thing with you, but all of the good stuff, that's definitely coming with. So give yourself the space and the freedom to explore what does this season look like, and is that really aligned with you? Does this career really still fit you? Does it still give you the true fulfillment that you're looking for? And if not, what would? That relationship that you've been in off and on for years. And even though it's been more on than off, the times when it was off, honey, it was O double F, okay? And it can be scary to recognize that you've outgrown something that felt like it would last a lifetime. But, friend, everything grows, including you. And sometimes growth causes us to go in a different direction from some of the key staples that we've had in our life. And there is a point where you do reconcile that. And it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. Okay. So, friend, get yourself these prompts. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you a journal prompt just to get you started. Okay. Because you know I can't let you leave here without no journal prompt. So let me grab it for you. Okay. Okay. Where am I continuing something out of habit or fear rather than genuine alignment? And what has that choice been costing me? Ooh, friend, this one gets all up in your business, okay? But answer it honestly. No shame, no shade, and no judgment. Allow yourself to explore this freely. And grant yourself grace as you even allow yourself to be honest with you, because sometimes it's harder to admit things to ourselves than it is to anyone else, because this just wasn't the vision. Whatever it is that you feel like you're facing in this crossroads, whether it is a career, a relationship, your role in your community, or even with your friends, or even something going on with your health. Any of these things can bring you to a crossroads where you're like, this just doesn't feel like me anymore. And it can be so hard to admit that to ourselves. And sometimes people are really hurt because they're like, why didn't they tell me? And sometimes the answer is they couldn't tell you because they couldn't even tell themselves. So, friend, if you are feeling that pressure right now, just take a breath in and release. Just relax for a moment. Just take a beat. Allow that pressure to just roll right past you, to just roll out of your shoulders and let it go. I know that the pressure can feel heavy, and I know that this can feel really scary, but you're not alone in this, okay? I got you. So, spend some time on your journal prompt and make sure you meet me in the comments and tell me, okay? Have you ever stayed somewhere way longer than you should have because leaving felt like failing? Ooh, friend, we gonna talk about it, okay? You know I love connecting and commenting back with you in those comments, friends. So meet me there, okay? We're going to wrap this up in the comments, okay, friend? The conversation continues in those comments. Well, I hope that you loved today's video as much as I loved making it for you. I know this can feel like a heavy topic when you are thinking about revamping your life, rebranding your life, being in that place of crossroads where you know that this doesn't really feel right and you're afraid of what the next step can mean to you because none of us really want to give up anything. And we don't really want things to change, but then we do want things to change. We do, but we don't. We do and we don't all at the same time. But the truth is, that is just the natural evolution of life. We were never built to hold on to every single thing forever. There are some things that are meant to stay with us for a lifetime, but so many things are meant to stay with us for a matter of seasons. And sometimes the season can be really short. So if you have found yourself just feeling a little scared and not really knowing how to navigate this, that's why I'm here, friend. So definitely make sure that you meet me in the comments. And friend, to know me is to know I love myself so much, I don't play about me. And if you hang out with me long enough, you will love yourself so much, you won't play about you either. Okay, friend? I'll meet you in the comments and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow.